Okay, so I have an activity.
Is it a scavenger hunt?
I was watching Miss Rachel, and she does
So it's a scavenger hunt.
Yes, a shape scavenger hunt. In the room you're in, go find a circle.
We're all going to leave our desks.
Look, I found one. It's a circle.
I got one.
You're a circle?
I got a lens cap.
Oh.
Nice.
The worst podcast.
The best podcast. I'm Isaac Sims.
I'm Olivia Clement.
I'm Walter Lyle.
Is your middle name Marcus? What's your middle name?
Yeah, I saw you put it on the agenda. It is Marcus. I don't know how you knew that.
Aw.
Nice.
No,
Cool.
I'm just kidding. My middle name is Mitchell.
Mitchell.
So close.
I knew it was an M.
M. Yeah. You were reading my mind. You were reading the psychic vibes in the room, much like the guy on Late Night with the Devil, a movie that I did just watch.
While you were editing photos today.
You know what? Can I say something real quick? I edited an entire wedding gallery today from start to finish while I watched that movie.
I would like to say also that Walter edited my entire family session in an afternoon as well. The same day. Got him back like literally hours later. And he's really good.
And it really bothered me. Just that kind of guy. I'm just that kind of photographer. So, hey, wait.
And this is Flyover Film Country.
yeah.
A film podcast hosted by residents of Arkansas and Oklahoma, bringing in perspective somewhere between the average moviegoer and your cousin enrolled in his sophomore year of film school at USC. I'm just gonna
Lame.
every episode. I'm
just gonna name a
just gonna
different-
insert a new
different
school.
Good.
Yeah. We want everyone to know that the movies are great. Duh, movies.
The movies. I love the movies.
And we're
Love the
building
movies.
we're building a community of film fans in Flyover Country.
Can I
So
just say?
today.
Oh,
You're not following the agenda, Walter. You are our
Hey, here's
producer.
the thing. It's about finding the balance between like we went off script and then we got back on script and then we just gotta like we keep going for a little bit.
Y'all
and then
got
we get
used
off
to
script,
not
and then
having
we
me just completely.
It's like smooth jazz. It's like Walter. It's like Michael Scott.
Jazz is the worst.
It's like smooth
Just
jazz.
play
It's like
the right notes.
it's like Michael Scott.
Another Office quote.
Playing basketball in the warehouse in season 1.
Go ahead.
What are we
Walter.
talking? What are we talking about?
No, I want Walter to
Please.
go.
Olivia, please go ahead.
Fine. Today, we have had so much trouble, and we've got double trouble talking about what everyone wanted to be the Barbenheimer of 2024. And it wasn't. But we're going to talk about it anyway. That's right, everyone. We're talking about Gladiator 2 and Wicked Part 1. So, here's where we're at. This is also our final episode of the year.
It's our final episode of the year. We kicked it down the road so that I could see Wicked and so we could do some research. And guess what?
What?
I did a little research, but I did not see Wicked.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine.
What?
I saw Wicked again last night for the second time.
You saw
it's
it. You saw it
fresh.
before me.
Fresh.
It's fresh. I'm ready to talk about it.
You know what I did see
Your mom.
instead of
Got him.
Wicked? I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 1,
You
Sonic
really
the
like
Hedgehog 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3
I still need to see
in
3.
theaters.
and you were a fan of
They
the third.
were pretty good. Yeah. Sonic came on after Sophie and I watched The Wild Robot. And we had already watched it and she was like, "Oh, Sonic." And she's like 2.5 and it was really cute. So naturally I had to watch the whole thing yesterday.
Obviously.
Yeah. I was like, well, I mean, it's on. I can't turn it off, you know.
I can't turn it off. Walter, what have you watched recently?
It's fine. We don't have to talk about
Don't
it.
care. Next.
Okay. All right. I was actually wondering, but that's fine. That's fine.
No, that was my Walter
No,
impersonation.
that was good. My wife and I have started our Lord of the Rings rewatch. We got about 8 hours left in Fellowship of the Ring. God. And then we had to take it in chunks.
8 hours. I just got that joke.
No, I'm not gonna talk about that. We haven't doing that, but I watched Late Night with the Devil today while I was working.
Did you watch it on Shudder?
And I'm not gonna tell you where I watched it. And I really, really liked it.
Apple, you rented it, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I bought the Blu-ray. I cannot believe I waited that long to watch that movie. That is like extremely up my alley as far as what I like in a horror and what I like in like cinematography and just filmmaking in general. Highly recommend if you like, it's not even just paranormal horror, it's like the occultish horror. Definitely, I'm not gonna say it leans into it, that's what it is. And they did a fantastic job. So neither of y'all have seen it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you got to. It's not going to rank in like favorite movies I watched this year. Oh, maybe it will. I don't know.
Out of all 7.
I'd have to think about someone says 6. I don't know if I hit 10. It might. I'd have to go back and look at the movies I watched because I did watch a lot of good movies this year. So
Walter's top 10 is going to be so thin on our next episode. He's going to be like, and coming in at number 7 is a video I produced about a guy who it's a well pump that he
it's one of my commercial
invented
projects.
and I edited it and it's a good film.
Walt, are you going to see Nosferatu?
Nosferatu.
I was going to try to see it this week and then found out that our daughter's daycare, the hours are weird because of the holiday this week, so I'm not going to be able to. I would still like to make plans to if I can, because it has gotten some really raving reviews.
Well, do you see it next week?
We'll
talk offline
sometime. Yeah, okay.
I saw it yesterday, so
I'm proud of
I would
you
love
for going to see it, Olivia.
Thank you. Am I a hero? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Olivia, what's your spoiler-free quick little review of Nosferatu then? Because I assume we're going to cover it later, or maybe we won't. I don't know if we have plans.
Who's to say? I will say, so it's directed by Robert Eggers, who also did The Witch, The Lighthouse, and then The Northman. I haven't seen The Northman, but I've seen the other two. And I think that he can make a really great movie, and it's well directed and well acted. These movies are not for me. I'm not a fan of these movies. So, but I think they're good. I think they're good. I just don't, they're not for me.
I think you would like The Northman.
I kind of honestly still want to watch it.
I think you should. Yep.
Okay.
I think you would like it.
The Witch really, I always call it the Vivitch, and no one knows what I'm talking about. Actually,
No,
some people do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the Vivitch, if you look at the anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, if you look at the poster of it instead of a W, it's 2 V's. And so my friends that I watched it with in college, we called it the Vivitch. Anyway, that scared the ever-loving daylight out of me when I watched it. It really freaked me out. And so,
scary movie.
It's so scary. Other people, I know lots of people are like, that's not that scary. I don't know what you're talking about.
I did not think The Witch was that scary.
See, I thought it was so scary. I watched it like this most of the time.
I watched it. I think I watched it when we lived in Conway, at our house in Conway, and I think the lights were like all off and the sound was up, and Jess and I were like, oh my gosh, this is scary.
Is that a peach?
Hey, I'm drinking some tea.
Drink. Yeah, we're supposed to do a drink check.
Drink check. Canada Dry.
Canada Dry. Isaac's got tea. For one, now it's inverse. Y'all always have the alcoholic drinks. I never do, and now I'm sipping on the good stuff.
Hey, I like the peach one. It's really good.
Yeah,
peach one is
slurping the
best.
sauce.
All right, so let's transition into Gladiator 2 and Wicked. Let's start with Gladiator 2 since you've seen it, Isaac. Not
transition. Let's go.
Love it. Thank you. Since you've seen it and not Wicked. So, where do you want to start with Gladiator?
Short review. Extremely disappointed.
See, I disagree.
Okay.
You're the only person
I really liked it.
Good
who
podcast.
has said that, Isaac.
Really?
I haven't seen either of these movies, and I probably won't. But everybody I've talked to who has seen both movies really likes the second one, like our friend Olivia here.
Thank you. A friend of the pod.
So what's going on? What's the truth?
Here's the thing. Walter. Okay, so the first movie. Here's it in like 2 sentences. In the first movie, it is like the first Gladiator is exquisitely paced. It is it is plotted perfectly. That is why it is one of the best movies, like at least action movies, or any subgenre that it falls into. It's like Gladiator. Everybody knows what you're talking about. Are you not entertained? This movie, the sequel, is just so frustrating because it's like hearkening to all the good things about Gladiator, but the number one fundamental thing that makes Gladiator a great movie is that everything moves as it should, and you know why Maximus is doing what he's doing because you see it happen in real time. His family gets killed. He gets betrayed. The country he's working so hard to get glory for that's in question is being it's all upended, and his service is moot and taken for granted because someone corrupt comes into power. And so it's like it moves, and it's so good, and it's so like you get to the end when he kills Joaquin Phoenix and you're like, yes. And Paul Mescal is just kind of like here. And every time you're with him, you're like, okay, like we saw his wife die. Spoilers, Walter.
Dang it.
He doesn't seem like as angry as he should be. He definitely doesn't seem as angry as Maximus did when his wife and son were killed. And,
so you're telling people how they should grieve?
And
sorry.
He is. This
is the only other thing. Like Denzel Washington is like
are you gonna say he's a bad actor?
He is really good in this, but he is like out of place, and this is to the film's fault. He is so good, but he's doing his training day. Like, Rome was not built in a day. You want Rome? I'll give you Rome. Like he's like literally doing that. And it's awesome. And it's funny. And it's like, he's like, yeah, it's like, it's really good. And you want to be with him. And then it's like, oh, great. We have to be with Paul Mescal, who's just kind of like sitting around. And Paul Mescal's literally in a cage for like 40 minutes of the movie. And I was like, what are we doing here? And then like they kill Pedro Pascal, and you're like, okay, he was like our Maximus stand-in, and now he's dead. That's why I didn't like the movie.
Okay. I mean, I think those are fair critiques.
Okay. Olivia, counterpoint.
I loved it in spite of it. Here's the deal.
Sure. Go for it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not saying.
No, you are. You told me you're gonna argue. We logged on and you said I'm gonna rip.
You have to marry your mother-in-law because he flipped the bottle and it landed. You have to marry your mother-in-law.
You flinched. Okay,
Paul.
Sorry.
Are you guys done?
Yeah. I've really said that. I was like, Olivia, I'm coming at it from an energy of like, I was pretty frustrated with the movie. I was watching it and I was like,
yeah. Yeah,
it was more just like, really? Not like anybody who likes it. Like tons of people I talked to were like,
sure.
I really like that. And it's like, great, awesome.
Yeah. No, I remember when we initially talked about it, you said that you were just disappointed in it. You expected more from it. I didn't. I went into it thinking there's no way it's going to be as good as the first one. And I don't think it's as good as the first one. I think I've rated both of them 4 stars on Letterboxd, but for such different reasons. And so for Gladiator 2, why I think it was so good is it felt like the action sequences, like the fights in the Coliseum, were bigger, and I think they were way more fun and they felt more intense to me than they did in the first one. I felt like the first one was slow. I did not like the pacing of the first one. But also, again, talking about movies that I'm not the target audience for. I don't think I'm the target audience for Gladiator or Gladiator 2 for that matter. I feel like these movies are very much trying to cater to men, and obviously I'm not a man, so I think that's one of the reasons why I don't love Gladiator. It's a fantastic movie, and I think it's a great movie. I agree with everything you've said about it, outside the pace of it. For Gladiator 2, I loved the fight scenes, thought they were cool. The Colosseum, like battleship scene, super cool. Loved it. I thought that Joseph Quinn was awesome as a bad guy. Honestly, would have loved to have seen more of him. I think that Joseph Quinn I hope his career takes off or continues to just climb in the trajectory that it's been going on. He was in A Quiet Place Day One earlier this year, and I thought he was really good in that. I thought he was really good in this movie. I enjoyed A Quiet Place Day One, which is another scary movie. I saw so many scary movies this year.
I'm proud
guys.
of you. I'm proud of you.
Thank
How
you.
many scary
Proud of you.
movies you saw this year.
I
So proud of you.
Proud of
am
you.
so brave.
I got that text from you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I got that text from you. It was seated for Nosferatu with the saluting.
I
emoji.
did. I did this.
And I was like, "You were seeing Nosferatu?"
I
would have
did.
put Nosferatu on the agenda for an episode if I knew you were going to go see it.
Sorry.
I'm just saying.
I guess we could
talk
still.
about
Hey,
these things
anyway,
first.
we're talking about that off. Also, I think that Paul Mescal's character, you can't compare it to Maximus. You just can't, or else you're going to be set up for a loss. And
But
I
they
think
had
that's
30 years to write something really good.
it's a completely different time in Rome.
Okay, do you want to know? It is.
Sure.
Do you want to know what the initial sequel idea for Gladiator 2 was?
Yes, please tell me.
Maximus goes to hell
Oh,
and fights demons.
Nice.
I'm not even kidding. Look it up.
that would have
is
been really
like-
cool.
Would have been a better movie here.
I have not seen either of these movies. I would hate that. I think that's really stupid. And clearly, judging by the immediate silence from y'all don't agree. And that's fine.
No, it's
and I haven't
Here's the
seen
deal.
these movies, so who cares, I guess.
You
But
also thought Cocaine Bear was silly.
It
And
is.
guess what? You were right.
Yes,
You were
it's a
wrong
you're-
to not have a good time.
See, and you were wrong for not having a good time with Cocaine Bear. But I do think Denzel Washington just schools everyone in his acting, and I, for one, do not care at all that he was just using his Brooklyn accent.
I don't either. I want to be clear about like everything he was doing. I was like, I would not have like don't change everything to fit around Denzel Washington.
Sure, I think
That's-
it would have been a better
Let the
movie.
record show.
Let the record show. Isaac is not saying Denzel was bad. I do
In
think
fact,
that if the
Isaac's
movie
saying
had
Denzel
centered
good.
Denzel good, everyone else bad.
Except Pedro Pascal.
He was good too. I also think Joseph Quinn was good. I've already established that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Moving
I'm
on.
not saying everyone else was bad. I thought Joseph Quinn and Fred Hetchinger were good too. So
God, they were gross. I hated them.
yeah, they were good.
Yeah. I do think it would have been a better movie had it been centered around Denzel's character. And also, I want to talk about his character for a little bit here.
Okay, go ahead. Olivia,
Thank
can you
you.
talk about his character real quick?
Yes, I'm going to.
Okay.
So
Good producing, Walter.
his character rises in ranks so quickly. What is happening?
Oh,
Just keep going.
I just feel like we're wasting time here. Anyway, so
can't
his character rises in ranks so quickly and it just shoots to power so fast over the course of this 2.5 hour movie. What is the timeline here? Is it 2 weeks? Is it
yeah, it's hard
5
to
years?
tell.
Like, who's to say?
Wait, he's like ruling Rome.
Yeah. It just happened so quickly. And I feel like this almost needs to be viewed as like a political drama more than anything else. I think if you were to, which the way they marketed this film, it made it seem like Denzel's going to be in it for like maybe 30 minutes and that's it. Like his character is going to be much more minor. And so there was nothing about the, like really the second half of the film of his character ended up being like the true bad guy. And spoilers, by the way, he ends up being the true bad guy.
Spoilers, Walter.
And
Walter's like, I don't care.
Walter's not even listening.
I'm checked out.
And I thought that was really good. Oh my God.
Let Olivia talk.
Go for it.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I was making a joke at Walter's expense, like at our behalf.
It's fine. It's fine.
Let Olivia talk. I want to hear.
I don't even know where I was going anymore. I was talking about marketing. I think it was really good that they didn't talk about or they didn't show that Denzel was going to be the bad guy, the main bad guy at all in any of the trailers. Like, I thought that was really cool to like discover that and see that unfold as you watch the movie, as opposed to any sort of hinting that they could have done in any of the trailers. And that's what I was going to say before I was interrupted 15 times.
There you go. Well, and that's also like why I think Gladiator, the original, is so successful is because it is a political drama kind of laced with the battle scenes and the violence. But I'm glad that they tried to make it more complicated. They tried to make it like, what if we turned up the heat on the political theater stuff even more and made it more about how like power corrupts and Rome is bad now and all that. Like, I love all of the ideas in it. I just didn't I'm watching it and I'm like, this is weird because you see what should be the inciting moment when Paul Mescal's wife gets killed by an arrow at the beginning, and then I'm like, did they do all this in one take? Did Ridley Scott not tell him like, hey, your wife is dead and you are a slave, and like you need to be like, here's the point. I can demonstrate with like a specific scene. He sees Pedro Pascal and he initially wants revenge on Pedro Pascal's character, right? Pedro Pascal, they conquer that city. Paul Mescal's character and the other guy that he's with, the Numidian, are bound, or like they're captured, and they're looking over at Pedro Pascal and everything is burning, and the camera is resting on Pedro Pascal's face for like 5 seconds, and he looks like weary and sad, and in that moment, like I could track like he doesn't want to be doing this, and it's very like clearly communicated, and it made me more interested, and was like, oh, okay, so like it's like Maximus, but I'm ultimately like, I kind of want to know what's going to happen with him. And then you cut to Paul Mescal and the Numidian on the boat, and Paul Mescal's like making jokes, and it's like he doesn't seem that sad, and so it's just kind of like, what are we like? This guy's supposed to be Maximus, but like this other guy is like more like Maximus. So that's why I was fresh. That's right at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this what the movie's gonna be like? And so that's how I like went into it, kind of hoping that it would be more like a consistent, tight directing of performance, and I like Paul Mescal. I don't think that he's bad or anything. I think it's just like he wasn't like guided the way he should have been. So anyway,
sure. So overall,
sure, yep.
Isaac he was not a fan of it. I was, and I don't know what that means for everyone, but that's
or what it means in the grand scheme of things.
It doesn't matter. I know for a fact it doesn't matter
in the grand scheme of life.
In the grand scheme of life, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Not in my. It was not going to have an effect on my life. I know that.
Okay, I want to talk about Ridley Scott for a second, though, and then this will be the last thing, and then we can transition to Wicked for a sec. But do you think Ridley Scott is losing it just because he's 1,000 years old?
I heard. I
love that Ridley's still making movies. Go ahead, Walter.
I just had read some reports, just about how he would he's just very difficult to work with on the set of Gladiator 2. Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find. I don't even know.
Like he was not as particular. Like he was lazy, I think is what It was
It was
laziness.
the cinematographer for the movie.
It was a cinematographer. I was like, it wasn't the producer.
Do one take and then be good with it, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. And it's not like, again, I have no Blade Runner is one of my favorites ever. Like, I love that Ridley Scott's still making movies. I liked Napoleon.
Yeah.
I like that.
We love Ridley Scott on this podcast.
Yeah. So it's just to me, I watched Gladiator and I was like, that was lazy and frustrating to watch as someone who just really, really loves the original Gladiator.
Is it on do you feel like it's the same effect as, okay, obviously not because these are different movies, different expectations, but Megalopolis, how all the reports of oh my gosh, the director of oh my gosh, blanking on his name. Somebody
Francis
help. Thank you.
Coppola.
Gosh, how Coppola was just smoking weed all the time and would be several hours late to call times and stuff like that,
and harassed women.
Yeah. Are these filmmakers, are these directors just too old to be doing this anymore? Is there an age of retirement that should be kind of imposed upon people like this, or it's like
those in power, like our presidents?
Everyone in Congress?
Yeah, we can vote them out. Term limits for directors because hey, I get that you made The Godfather and that was groundbreaking, but that does not mean you had to make Megalopolis. You know what I mean? It does not mean that everybody has to be oh, but it's Coppola, or it's Ridley Scott. You know, I don't know. I just think we, the audience, the viewers, the everyday man should be empowered to say, you can retire, man. It's fine. Nobody's gonna be mad at you. You know, sit in your pile of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck, and then you can, move on from there. I don't know. Nobody's agreeing or disagreeing with me on that. So
no, I'm thinking about it.
I liked. You didn't see Megalopolis, did you, Olivia?
No.
Mm-mm. Oh, I saw it with two buddies, and we were dying laughing. Dying. Wow, platinum.
But it wasn't a good movie.
Character. No, and it's I would much rather see capitalism be used for just silly vanity projects that ultimately harm no one than I don't know, maybe
Are you wait, hold on.
Some people retire in Congress, you know what I mean?
Hold on. Are you saying it's cool for Coppola to make Megalopolis because it's a vanity project that harmed no one?
As opposed to
hold on, no.
87-year-olds being in Congress, that's what I'm comparing it to.
Okay, but he also harassed women. That's harming them.
I am not condoning the harassment. I'm talking about the finished product of Megalopolis.
We're separating the art from the artist, Olivia.
Okay, okay.
That's a joke.
All right.
No, harassing people is bad, and I'll go out
harassing
on a limb.
people.
You can put my name on that. You can take that to the bank.
Okay. I agree with what you're saying, Isaac, of if a director wants to make whatever movie they want to make for however long and they're getting paid to do it, so be it. As long as they're not being a freaking a-hole.
Right. Yeah. No, of course.
As opposed to the people who are running our country right into the ground. Anyway, that's not the point of this podcast. We're moving on.
Right.
Welcome to
our political podcast.
Can I tell you?
Yes,
What?
tell us.
Can I tell you real quick about something silly that me and my buddy do at work?
Okay.
So we're working on a huge federal grant that would build a lot of infrastructure for a community in Arkansas that like really needs it. And we started joking about like, what if like about how rich Mr. Beast was, because it was the day that his like company policy booklet was leaked or whatever. And he was like, we were like, Mr. Beast is so rich. What if he just like decided to suddenly build a bunch of infrastructure for a town in Arkansas that like really needed it, or like in you know, Mississippi or something? And then we started imitating him like, I'm here in the dying town of Arkansas, where we're gonna build 15 miles of active transportation infrastructure.
Is that
But he
what
like
sounds
doesn't know
like?
it.
Yeah, he's like, it is hard to describe his cadence, like especially like the beginnings of his videos where he's like introducing the concept.
He's like enthusiastic,
but it's like you look behind his eyes and there's nothing there. Like it's this bizarre,
Because
like,
anyone who has that much money has no soul.
but it goes beyond like a Jeff Bezos kind of thing. Like it's like it's weirder than that. And if you have, I don't watch his videos. I've watched a couple of clips because I'm morbidly curious. And like the first 10 seconds of a Mr. Beast video is like you're transported to another dimension where like what you thought you've known is not real. Because just the way, I can't describe it.
No, that's fine.
I've got
don't
us on the
know
craziest
how I have missed out on all the YouTubers. I know lots of people our age who are super into YouTubers. I don't know if none of my friends just didn't get into it, and that's why I didn't get into it. But I don't understand it. I feel like a freaking boomer when I say stuff like that. Like, I just don't understand.
That's fine. And it's not something I'm telling you that you have to get into, or like, oh, you're missing out on some great content. Like, no, you're not. Like, I love YouTube, but I love all like the smaller creators. I watch videos about photography and filmmaking and like that kind of stuff. I'm not watching the videos with 66 million views on, I took a guy's eyeballs out of his head and put them in a dead woman's casket. Like, okay, I'm not watching any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So now that I say that would I would click on that video. I would be a little bit interested.
I created it right before this meeting.
Yeah, actually, it's trending.
Actually, now that you brought it up.
Bozo dubbed over.
Oh my gosh.
Dubbed over.
Okay.
So anyway, back to Mr. Beast.
Back to speaking of Mr. Beast, let's talk about Ridley Scott for a second. Here are his last like 4 movies.
Oh, we're still on Ridley Scott. Okay.
Okay, and then we need to talk about Wicked because we're running out of time.
We've got 7 minutes left, and I'm the only one who saw it, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, we're pushing this baby to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott's last 4 movies: Gladiator 2, Napoleon, House of Gucci, and The Last Duel. I haven't seen Napoleon, but I have seen House of Gucci and The Last Duel.
Was House of Gucci good? I heard it was good. Maybe
it was not.
I'm thinking of something else then.
It's not good, but it's better than Napoleon.
Okay.
Right?
You think it's better? I don't know. I've never seen Napoleon. I did not like House of Gucci. Here's the deal. The costumes for House of Gucci, phenomenal. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. Did not like anything else about that movie.
I thought it was so funny. Like, it's so ridiculous.
It's not supposed to be funny.
I was about to ask if it was supposed to be funny.
I don't think it is.
Do you mean it's not supposed to be funny because of the subject matter of like, yeah, it's about like she's trying to kill him and it's supposed to be dark.
like there are maybe a couple of like not even throwaway lines, but a couple of lines that are supposed to be funny. But like,
I want to fly like a pigeon. Jared Leto says that in the movie.
I cannot believe he's still getting roles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. First of all, Jared Leto's in it, and that tells you everything you need to know about it.
Yeah.
Makeup was good on him.
What?
I'll defend this movie. The makeup that they got him in, the wig. And
Olivia already defended. She said the costuming was great.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the only thing I liked about that movie. I liked The Last Duel, though. I did like The Last Duel.
Rocks so hard.
It is.
Jess and I watched it and
so
we were
good.
like, this is one of the best movies we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is so good.
So I don't know if Ridley Scott is losing his touch or not. I kind of hope he does make movies for as long as he lives.
You still got his filmography open? What did he make before Last Duel and all that?
He did 2 episodes of this TV show called Raised by Wolves, which I think was on Max.
Oh, yep. Didn't watch it.
He did All the Money in the World, which I haven't seen.
Didn't watch it.
Alien Covenant, The Martian.
That's a good movie.
I love Alien Covenant.
And
haven't seen The Martian.
Martian's really good.
Exodus, Gods and Kings, which I did not see.
Apparently it was bad.
I'm sure it was. The Counselor, I don't even know what that is.
Apparently that's bad.
Prometheus, which I liked.
Apparently that's awesome.
Robin Hood, which I think bombed.
Yep. I saw that in theaters.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Body of Lies, American Gangster, which...
Denzel.
Yeah, I was say I think that's like highly regarded. A Good Year, which I don't know what that is. All the Invisible Children. Oh, that's like got parts to it, and he did a segment of that one. Kingdom of Heaven.
I still haven't seen Kingdom of Heaven. Apparently the director's cut is incredible.
No.
Nice.
Matchstick Men, Black Hawk Down.
That's a great movie. You would love Matchstick Men.
Okay.
It's Sam Rockwell and Nick Cage.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
They're con men, and it's really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Should we talk about Wicked?
Yeah. Let's talk about Wicked. Wicked Part 1.
Let's dive right in.
Let's dive right in. Okay. I don't know. Ask me questions about Wicked because I don't know where to start with it, and I'm just gonna ramble. And so I think I would like some guidance with it.
Okay.
Raise your hand.
Well, just raise it. Just go ahead. Just go ahead and raise it. Just keep it raised for the rest of the episode. I feel I can. Oh, Isaac, you haven't seen it either.
Nope.
Okay, then we can both facilitate this.
Yeah.
I'll ask the first question. Olivia, did you see the play and was a fan of the play first?
I've never seen the play. I have listened to the soundtrack from the original Broadway recording with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, who is from Oklahoma, by the way.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. And I really like the soundtrack, but I had never seen the actual production of it.
Okay.
Let's go back. I'm raising my hand because I don't want
Isaac.
to keep interrupting Olivia. Let's go back even further. Who's seen The Wizard of Oz? Raise your hand.
I have
all 3 of us.
Yes.
Is this the first time we've all... No, but we've seen several movies.
Olivia, no,
Never mind. I'm going to go.
How long we've been doing this podcast, there's no way that's the first
I think...
time.
No. Let me rephrase. I think that question was coming from...
She's right to doubt, though.
Yeah, first of all, I am right to doubt. Second of all, the first time I was thinking of outside of what we're doing for the podcast, has there been a movie where all 3 of us have seen it that wasn't like...
We didn't watch it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I don't think that's actually, it's probably not The Wizard of Oz, but it feels like the first time in a long time where we've talked about a movie that we're not directly covering, where all 3 of us have seen
it's
it.
like, oh, we've seen that.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's
That's
y'all's
fair.
relationship to The Wizard of Oz?
I liked it as a kid.
How young were you when you watched it?
Oh, I don't know. Young enough. I don't know.
Young enough.
Young enough.
Old enough.
Young enough to like it.
Old enough to not be scared by the flying monkeys.
I was scared. What was I scared by in Wizard of Oz? It wasn't the flying monkeys.
There's so many things that would scare a child.
Yeah, I can't remember, but there was some scary stuff in that. I'll tell you what was scary is the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or maybe Willy Wonka, the Gene Wilder one.
Mm-hmm.
The boat ride.
Oh,
dude,
terrifying.
Dude, whose idea was that?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's wild. That's Gene Wilder. Okay. Wicked though. Oh, Wizard of Oz. Why were you asking about Wizard of Oz?
Did you know that Wicked's based on the Wizard of Oz?
Yes, I know. Yes, I'm not a moron. Ooh.
You sure about that?
No, listen. Listen. Right
You
before the
tried to
movie came
backpedal. Ain't happening, brother. You're in the pit.
Guys, wait. Listen.
No. What I meant by that. What I meant by that. Guys, stop. Hey, that's not funny.
One of my coworkers, right before the movie came out, one of my coworkers, she's a huge Wicked fan. So shout out Monty. And we were writing to a shoot or a meeting or something, and she was like, "Are you going to see Wicked when it comes out?" And I said, "I cannot express to you how much I'm not going to see Wicked when it comes out." And so she said, "Okay, do you know what it's about though?" And I said, "Yeah, it's like a prequel to Wizard of Oz. It's like the backstory of like the two, you know, the good witch and the bad witch, the green one and the white one. I don't know, however you want to say that." And then she said, "Okay, but like, do you know that it's like?" Well, and she gave me a little bit of details, and I was like, I was like, "Monty, I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, it's not my thing. I don't like it. Doesn't
See, Monty, you say shiz, and I just like, I start having a existential crisis. Like,
I was like, I just don't. I was like, I just don't need to know about it because I'm not going to watch it." She proceeded to give me the entire synopsis of Wicked, and that took the rest of the car ride. So I don't need to. I don't need to see the movie now. Oh, and then also after Morgan saw the movie, she played me a couple of songs from the soundtrack on Spotify, and so now I'm caught up. I'm good. I don't.
So So Walter, you've been acting like you haven't seen. We can talk about it.
I watched the movie.
You watched it.
Yeah.
my sisters. I grew up in a house with 4 sisters, and they listened to the soundtrack on repeat. And I was going to see. Here's the thing: I was going to see it. All of my family was coming into town. There's a ton of people in my family, and I was getting ahead of the ball. And I was like, "Hey, I want to talk about the Wicked on the podcast, so I'm going to get ahead of it. Ask everyone who wants to see it. My mom doesn't like going to see movies. She can watch the kids. Me and Jess can go." Well, my mom, like the day before, was like, "I kind of want to see it," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I watched my children and my mom and all of my family, including Jess, and I'm really glad Jess went to go see it because she said she really liked it and said it was good. So I went to see it. So that's why I didn't get to go see it. And I couldn't bring myself to go see this movie that's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I have anything against it, or like I really like John M. Chu for sure as a director, but I was just like, I just don't like musicals, and I couldn't find the time to go see it with someone.
Hold on. You said not that long ago, because I was positive you did not like musicals. And I said that on the podcast, and you were like, "No, I like musicals." And here you are saying you don't like musicals. So what is it, sir?
I think it just depends.
I think you're picky. Oh, no. I remember I was talking about this last time we talked about musicals.
Tick, Tick, Boom?
Yeah.
I like Tick, Tick, Boom.
Yeah. He's very particular about
Sound of Music.
Olivia's not having this.
I'm just...
Those two. I know I go back and forth on it. Is it causing emotional distress for you?
I'm
really sorry.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll help clear this up. I hate musicals.
Yeah, I know. Because we talked about this. Because you were like, "No, I'm the one who doesn't like musicals." Yeah. And Isaac's like, "I like musicals." I
like Sondheim.
I just want the story to be straight. You know, I want it to be succinct.
Hey, and you can't get that in a musical.
I can't get that from Isaac, apparently. Is Isaac a musical?
Isaac is the musical of people.
My favorite.
That's why you hate him so much.
My favorite tweet of the my favorite tweet about Wicked is like, the inventor of musicals be like, "What if we ruined a movie every 15 minutes?" Sometimes that's how I feel about movies. Yeah. Or music.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Wicked now.
All right.
And I'm just going to start talking because you guys are going on rabbit trails.
Just go.
So here are my thoughts on Wicked as someone who does like musicals. I'm not by any means a theater nerd. I did not grow up in theater. I think theater nerds as a whole are the most obnoxious people in the world. Maybe not the most, but they're up there. Top 5 at least. Mm-hmm. And there are some that are super pretentious. There are some that are super cool. My friend Hannah, that's a friend of the pod. Super cool. She's not pretentious. She's awesome. Love talking to her about movies, especially Wicked. We talked about this one. As a whole, I was not expecting to like Wicked at all. I thought it was crazy that they were splitting it up into 2 parts. I thought it was crazy that part 1 was going to be longer than the actual stage production of the entire show. I was not super jazzed with the trailer when it came out because I did not love the color grading. Because you brought up Wizard of Oz, and I'm really glad you brought up Wizard of Oz. I watched Wizard of Oz prior to seeing Wicked for the first time, and I was just blown away by how incredible that movie is. It is. I love Technicolor. I love that time of movies and just how bright and cool and everything looked back then. And I think that Wicked kind of looks like a slightly brighter Marvel movie. That's my critique of it, or one of my critiques of Wicked. And when the trailer came out, I was like, great, I'm really not gonna like it. And overall, I loved the movie. I still have an issue with that aspect of it. Another issue I have with it is Wicked is one of the probably most well-known musicals. You don't have to live in New York City to be familiar with Wicked, or at least have heard of it. And in the big numbers, the most popular numbers, so Defying Gravity, Popular, and what's the other? What Is This Feeling? And those are like the big numbers from really the whole soundtrack, but especially Act 1. In this movie, those moments those scenes are interrupted by dialogue. And I realize like that kind of sounds weird when you're thinking about how songs interrupt the dialogue that's happening in a musical, but the really big moments, even in Defying Gravity, when she's about to do her battle cry, that part is interrupted right before she does that by dialogue. And that's another critique I have of it, is like it takes the momentum and the weight of the moment out of it. Even in Popular, like that's a fun song where Glinda and Elphaba have decided, or they have become friends, and now Glinda is going to really try to bring Elphaba into her friend group and into the fold, and really try to include her in a way that she's never been included in her entire life. And even that's interrupted by them talking about what I don't even remember what they're talking about, but it takes the moment away, I feel like, when that happens. Now, those are my main 2 critiques. As a whole, like I said, I loved the movie. I thought Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were phenomenal. Ariana Grande has such a great voice, and she is so funny. I don't know if you guys have seen her host SNL or do any of her impersonations.
Dancing with Domingo.
Yes.
That sketch was so funny.
That was so funny. I was out of town the weekend that Ariana Grande hosted SNL earlier this year, and I had come home and I went to go see my parents because I hadn't seen them in a while. And so I was talking to them, and my dad's like, Olivia, have you watched SNL? And I was like, no, Dad, I was wherever I was. And he's like, we should watch it. And so he just turns it on. Not even like, do you want to watch it in this moment? Yeah, he just turns it on. And he was like, it was so funny, you're going to love it. And he was correct. I laughed so hard. I think it was the funniest episode this season. And I think that Ariana Grande, she's a great pop star. Love her songs. I think she needs to get back into acting because she's so
I agree.
Good.
I agree because
So good.
I hate her music, but I think she's a great actress.
Yeah. Anyway, and then Cynthia Erivo, for both of these actresses, this is a dream role for them, and you could tell that they really wanted to play these roles well, and it meant a lot to them. Jonathan Bailey was awesome as the main male lead, Fiyero. He was, I mean, you want to talk about someone who was real handsome. And he was great. The musical numbers were really cool. I thought the set design was awesome. The costumes were cool, and well made. I also, something that I learned recently was in the opening scene. So the opening scene picks up right where the Wizard of Oz kind of ends, of the Munchkins in Munchkinland are celebrating that the Wicked Witch is dead. And you see these like kids running through tulip fields. Well, I thought that was CGI. And then it turns out John M. Chu, the director, who directed In the Heights, and he also directed Crazy Rich Asians, he made sure that those were all like planted fields of tulips, kind of like how Christopher Nolan planted cornfields for Interstellar, which I thought was awesome. Anyway, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I love that touch. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, so I really enjoyed it. If anyone listening is at all interested in this, I highly suggest you go see it. I do not go to a sing-along if you haven't seen it before and you don't want to listen to people who can't sing, who tried really hard at one point to be on Broadway, but decided or learned that they actually are not Idina Menzel or Kristen Chenoweth. It just doesn't sound like a good time to me, but for each their own, or to each their own. And yeah, go see this movie. That's it. What is happening?
The thing that I want to talk about with Wicked is the whole scandal.
Oh my gosh.
That came. Walter, did you hear about this?
No.
They're on the dolls that Mattel created and like distributed for the movie as movie merchandise. There was a QR code that linked to wicked.com, which is a pornographic website, and Mattel got in a lot of hot water with Warner Brothers.
I would imagine
millions of parents.
Yep.
So I'm gonna click on the link.
You're gonna open the link
What?
on the screen share right now?
No, it was just the story about the this print.
I was like, I
sure.
just opened up porn live on
I was
the
like,
podcast. We had to delete.
we need to talk about if we're doing this podcast anymore.
Isaac opened porn. Just kidding. Anyway, this is a really funny thing I thought I would do, but also this is the instead of linking to Universal Pictures, I said Warner Brothers earlier. Dang it.
Idiot.
Official wickedmovie.com page. The website listed leads to an adult film site that requires consumers to be over 18. So it seems like kids didn't, well, I guess in the states that aren't Arkansas, does Oklahoma have that rule now, Olivia?
Oh, what?
Where you have to be 18 and like prove your age in order to view porn?
I don't know. I don't know.
Gotcha. Anyway. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
in those states,
porn?
Yeah, in those states it would have blocked it and just been like, you need to enter your ID or whatever to continue.
You have to enter your ID?
Yeah, no, that's how a lot of states. It's like, I don't know how many off the top of my head. I know Arkansas is one.
I'm sure
it went into
Oklahoma is
effect
that way too.
Earlier this year, I think.
Okay.
But then in other states, I guess a lot of kids could have seen some gnarly stuff. So I thought that was funny.
Very funny.
Not like I hope no one, I know it's not, whatever. It's funny for Mattel.
Anyway.
In a corporate, yeah. Anyway, so.
Well.
But now I think I'll try Defying Gravity. And
just what is this feeling so sudden and new? I felt it the moment I first
in high school, I bet Walter wanted to be popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna be popular.
Listen,
Gonna show you what shoes to wear,
this alcoholic drink
how to comb your hair.
is
Fix your
kicking
hair.
in. And I'm getting sleepy.
Sleepy boy.
Lar.
A little tired.
That is, I do like that. The popular.
Lar.
Did they do that in the movie?
Yeah, they did it. Yeah.
Yes.
It was also one last thing, because I do not want
have
us
another
to
last
end
thing.
on that,
After your last.
the Mattel thing. I think that they both did such a great job of like making these characters their own and not just making them, just not imitating the original actresses for these roles. I think that's kind of the hard part. I would guess that would be the hard thing to do as someone who is taking on a pretty well-known role, is how do you make it your own while also respecting kind of what was laid before you. And I think they both did a really good job, and they tweaked it enough to where they made it their own, and I think they did a good job with it. That's my last thought.
All right.
Awesome.
Love it.
Thanks.
Good job.
Love it.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let you know when I get to watch the single one. Are the flying monkeys too scary for Sophie?
In The Wizard of Oz or in Wicked?
In Wicked.
I would think so. She's what, 2?
Mm-hmm.
I would think they're probably pretty intense. Like there's one scene where there's a spell that's cast and the monkey is like getting its wings, and it's pretty intense and it's kind of scary. And there's another scene. Oh, this is a cool scene. This is probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. Michelle Yeoh is in it, and she plays Madame Morrible. And she's like telling the monkeys to get Elphaba, and she like comes in and like claps her hands and demands silence because she's Michelle Yeoh and is incredible. And they all stop and look at her because they're freaking out because they just got wings for the first time. And she turns to them and she's like, "You need to go find her." She says it way better and actually says a cool line. It's not that. And they take off, and she turns around, and it's like slow motion of the like monkeys taking off. And I think it looks cool and super badass of Michelle Yeoh to do that. But that's a really scary scene. And that's right before the Defying Gravity number. I think that Sophie would be scared. I would assume that a 2-year-old would be scared by that.
We'll watch Sonic the Hedgehog again.
Okay. Good call.
Cool. Jonathan Bailey is going to star alongside Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali in the next Jurassic World movie.
Oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson's going to turn into a dinosaur, right?
It's an Animorphs adaptation.
It's an Animorphs. Yep, that's right.
Pretty
Crazy.
cool.
But yeah, everybody is definitely wanting some more Jonathan Bailey,
Who doesn't?
from what I can tell.
Well,
It's like it's like me with. Never mind.
I'm about to play us out. We're way over time.
Yeah.
So here
Thank
I
you for
go.
listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, especially on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out a lot. Huge thank you to our favorite business owner and Skyrim addict, Walter Lyle. Congrats on watching a movie today, Walter. He's the Wizard of Oz of this podcast. He produced this episode. Thank you. Our art is by Macy Lummis. Our music is by Cord and Jocks. They're both Little Rock artists, and they're cool AF. Go check them out. And for our next episode, it's our personal favorite. I know for me, and my own.
Oh yeah.
Top 10 movies.
Top 10